The body of Britain's late Queen Elizabeth II has now arrived in London. The casket arrived at an airfield near the British capital before being driven to Buckingham Palace. It was greeted there by the late Queen's son, Britain's new King, Charles III. Now, the coffin will be moved to Westminster Hall on Wednesday, and that is where the late Queen will lie in state for 4 days ahead of her burial at Windsor Castle, which is scheduled for next Monday. Well, I want to pull in now Rosalia Hamilton. She is founder and CEO of Jamaica's Institute of Law and Economics. She was also an organizer and a co-signatory of an open letter that was published as then Prince William, visited Jamaica earlier this year, which called on the British monarchy to apologize for colonialism and to pay reparations for slavery. Professor Hamilton, it's good to have you with us tonight. You've seen the news coverage all over the world. The mourning that's taking place in the UK for Queen Elizabeth. What has been the reaction in Jamaica, where you are, to the Queen passing?
It has been mixed. There are a few people, mainly from the older generation, that, is grieving the loss and is mournful, sad, about what has happened. But I would say the large majority of Jamaicans are either indifferent, it's just another piece of news, because they're not connected in any way to the Queen, although she was the head of our state. And there are others who this whole conversation about the end of an era is about, bringing back these painful memories of the past. And people are saying, no, there's nothing to mourn. She's presided over the colonial legacies of a period and an era in our history that was very painful and inhumane. And so you have mixed views.
If I could, let me just ask you, if we're at a situation now where it's the end of an era, would you say that maybe it's also the end of an era for Jamaicans, that now is maybe the time to become a republic? Is there public support for that to happen?
Absolutely. That's been the conversation we've had in Jamaica, actually, from 1995, when both major political parties had agreed that they were going to move on. There's been a range of issues why it has not happened, but since Barbados became a republic, the conversation started again, and it took up, kind of escalated during the royal visits, when, the Advocates Network was at the forefront of demanding an apology and basically, reminding Jamaicans that after 60 years of independence, we were celebrating our 60 years, it's time. And so, yes, the death has drawn more public attention to this issue, and Jamaicans are, in fact, talking a lot about it.
You bring up the royal visits. I want to play a statement by Prince William, a statement that he gave when he was in Jamaica back in March. Take a listen.
I strongly agree with my father, the Prince of Wales, who said in Barbados last year that the appalling atrocity of slavery forever stains our history. I want to express my profound sorrow. Slavery was abhorrent, and it should never have happened.
Professor Hamilton, given that statement, are you expecting a change in the way the UK addresses its colonial legacy? Prince William, he did not mention the Queen there at all.
When the statement was made, the Advocates Network had responded by saying the statement was tone deaf. It simply echoed what his father had said earlier, and pretty much displayed insensitivity, I think, to the issues that we were.
Professor Hamilton, It looks like we've lost Professor Hamilton. She's frozen at her signal there. Unfortunately, we do apologize for that. That was Professor Hamilton joining us from Jamaica. Well, up to 1 million people are expected to descend on London this week to pay their final respects to Queen Elizabeth. It is a global event and at the same time touching all of the different communities having found a home in Britain throughout the last decades. Many of them have their roots in the UK's former colonies. What do they think about events? GW's Barbara Vaisel visited a market in London's East End.
London is mourning the death of Queen Elizabeth, and her picture is everywhere, even here in Whitechapel Market, where 2 local stall holders have put up this banner.
Queen is an icon, and she is a queen, and she's a good person.
The borough of Tower Hamlets is the center of London's Bangladeshi community and one of its ethnically most diverse areas. It is also one of the poorest. But all around here seem united by their love for the Queen.
I am like them Queen, my heart also. She is gone. We are very upset with this.
It's quite the same at the greengrocer's next door.
Nothing comparable to Queen. She was great. I hope she will go heaven.
But his main concern is the cost of living. Inflation in Britain stands around 10% and is set to rise even further. People are more careful than ever when they come to do their shopping.
Everything going up. Gas is price up, vegetable prices up, electricity is up. Every single thing is going up.
Fazal at his Afghan food stall is having the same experience.
Pricing going up, and to be honest, even the rent of stuff is very high. Of course, everyone worrying about this is really like serious situation.
Medium, thank you.
Nurse Angela likes buying her lunch at Fazal's. She works at the nearby hospital and knows how hard life is becoming for people in the area.
I'm just worried about what's going to happen with our gas, electric. Obviously, everything is rising so quickly and our salaries are not rising to that extent.
People are hoping for help, but the mourning period for the Queen has stopped all government business. Angela is also expecting some deeper changes in British politics.
Should start by probably paying reparations to the people of the Caribbean and Africa for the colonial past. So that would be a big help, and they could start maybe educational institutions to help those countries try and repair the damage that was done to them.
Thank you.
Teacher Juan Paulo comes from Peru and works in a local school. Its pupils are more and more taking up the issue of Britain's unresolved colonial past.
I believe there is a strong emotional attachment, and at the same time there is this big questioning movement of all the legacy of the monarchy and trying to deconstruct all the colonial involved into that. So I think that there are a lot of emotions involved.
Strong feelings on both sides, as many in Britain still stress the good aspects of their former empire. But the discussion has been opened.
This is the main thing, to establish better relation with its previous colonial. Then people can recognize and acknowledge what British did to them. That's how it should be.
One of these colonial legacies can be seen right here in Tower Hamlets, where deprivation and poverty are just steps away from London's gleaming financial district.